Everybody at some point has felt like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm faking this. I'm a fraud, and I'm going to get found out.
Welcome to Mind Your Is-ness. I'm Chokae, a traveler, writer, artist, yoga and meditation coach, sharing stories, adventures, and life hacks with an eclectic collection of friends around the globe. In this episode, working from home, COVID masks, and useful tips for starting a new business with co-founder of Pure Vitamin Club, Pure Coffee Club, and NSNG Foods, Mr. Andy Schreiber.
Jesus, yes.
Jeez.
What?
What?
You see who died today?
Oh, no. Who died today?
Carl Reiner.
Ah.
Carl Reiner.
Yeah.
Now, granted, he was 98.
Yeah, there's that.
However,
Yeah.
Carl Reiner, what a wonderful man.
From way back.
This is sad. I mean, as I like to say, somebody dies when they're 40, it's a tragedy. Somebody dies when they're 98. It's not a tragedy, but it's sad.
Yeah.
He had a very good long life, but it's still sad because he was Carl Reiner. That's a lot. He was just, one of my heroes in life.
What are some of your first, like, if you when you think about him, what comes to mind in terms of like?
Mostly television. More than anything else, I think of him in more recent years, that he was a social activist and he was this fabulous, wonderful, sweet, adorable old man sitting and having dinner every night on TV trays in front of the television with Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks has been coming to his house every night for years. The two of them sit and have dinner on TV trays in front of the television. It's like the cutest thing ever. It doesn't get cuter. How are you going to get cuter than that?
I don't know. Maybe
you can't.
Maybe me and
the
you.
The answer is you can't get cuter than that. Don't even try.
You and me can get cuter than that in Costa Rica on the veranda with the TV trays.
I don't know.
You're not sure?
We can get cute.
We can get cute.
I don't know if we can get Carl Reiner and Mel Brooks eating takeout from Nate and Al's on TV trays in front of the television. Cute.
Okay, all right.
Maybe. I'm sorry. I have to concede utter defeat in the face of that much cuteness.
Yeah, there are some things you just can't compete with. That level of cute.
I'm not even going to try to compete with that much cute.
Yeah, forget about it. Oh my God.
Forget about it. This is nice. I like this. I actually like this.
No, that's actually a good look. I think you should use that when you do your Tuesday tips.
I like it.
No, it's a good spot right there. It's you. It's relaxed. You're sitting on your.
Let me get some tape.
Yeah, get some tape.
Do the RuPaul trick with the tape.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you did.
What was that movie? Brazil.
Oh my God, that was so scary. I remember out of the whole movie, since they had that in the trailer, I was anticipating it was going to be worse than it was, that scene, because that was like horrible. That looked like a horror movie thing to me. Yeah. And I remember specifically that was one of the reasons why I was almost like, I don't know if I want to see that.
It's a good movie though.
That's dark. That's
dark. It's very dark.
So Andy,
right.
what was for dinner?
Let's do this.
Tell me what was for dinner?
From the market, you know how you can get like a pre-cut brochette, like with little chunks of chicken with the vegetables in between on the skewer.
Yeah.
And I intended to put that on the grill, and it didn't work, so I just did it on a grill pan in the kitchen and then in the oven.
You bought pre-kebabbed kebabs?
I had portobello mushrooms, and I did one of those too.
You did pre-kebabbed kebabs?
A pre-bob.
It's like who's got time to skewer meat?
I'm doing the old Jewish woman wave. My father's Aunt Celia, everybody just called her Auntie. She was just Auntie. Doesn't every family have just one that's just Auntie?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, she was just Auntie. She did that. She would make a face. She'd like do this, and with the wave was like all one gesture, and then she'd go.
That's
with the turned up nose and the dismissive wave and the.
I love Faye.
Yeah, we loved Auntie. She was a sweet old bird.
Oh, that's so nice.
Little tiny, frail, bird-like woman. She was so sweet.
So Andy, organization. How's that feeling?
How's organization feeling?
Yeah, I was
Oh,
thinking
you
it
mean
was
like in the home?
yeah, because I was thinking about it, trying to organize some of my stuff today, and I thought Andy's
Oh my
pretty
God.
organized.
I can't tell you how good it feels. There's a place for everything and everything in its place. It's fantastic. I've had such an easy time keeping everything clean and tidy and orderly because I've got room to put everything.
Hmm.
So I don't have to I don't know where to put it and it winds up out somewhere, right?
So nothing in the house winds up anyway.
No, because it's all so well organized and I have so much storage. So like when I do the dishes, I've got one big wide drawer just for lids, for pot lids. Just the lids go in one drawer. Well, you know what? I have to close the door because the bugs are going to get in. Hold on.
Ah, right.
I got another drawer for just frying pans, another one for pots, another one for baking kind of things. It's so good. It makes my life so easy. The closet is everything is organized. The bathroom. I bought I like a medicine chest. I like being able to get stuff off the bathroom counter and up. I want to be able to open that thing and anything that's tall like that. You know, my potions and lotions and unguents and tinctures.
You know, you, you know I'm a sucker for unguents.
Unguents and tinctures and unguents and lotions and potions. And then the last of the organization things are done.
So Andy, you mentioned I think you mentioned before that all of you were working at the house have different mask colors.
Wait, have we started? Are we already
Yeah,
podcasting?
I'm gonna cut this up into like really
Oh, all right.
choppy.
All right. I
Yeah,
thought we were
yeah.
like
I mean,
starting at some
because you
point.
know what? It's like I was like, you know what? Let's just play. I'm just gonna call Andy like I normally do, and we're just gonna talk. You know, we're just gonna chat.
The mute.
What happened with
Who
the
told
mute?
you you could mute?
Who muted? What's with the
Who
muting?
muted? How dare you?
How,
How very dare
how
you mute
very dare you with the muting?
the masks?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
you
I
have.
bought everybody. I had made special color-coded masks. Nobody uses them. They use their own. It's fine. As long as I wanted to be a good employer and provide.
And you did.
As long as they wear the masks and are comfortable and I'm comfortable, I don't care whether they use the ones that I had made for them or the ones that they bring in. That's fine.
Just in general, when you do go out, I know that you don't like going out to places like,
I
you know,
don't.
yeah,
I
but
don't.
is it the same? Is it better or worse, do you think, out there in terms of people with the masks and how people are?
I haven't seen it be really bad yet
Hmm,
here. But
hmm
again, I have had very limited exposure. I had to go out yesterday. I needed an MRI on my elbow because my
hmm.
elbow is still bad. The tendonitis that somebody's dog is having a conniption, serious conniption. So I had to go to the MRI place, not far from here,
Hmm.
and everybody was being very good. But when I went in to have the actual things, I did the whole waiting room thing, and it was the new place, so I had to fill out the new patient paperwork and all that stuff. And I managed to do all that with the gloves and the mask. It was fine. And I get into the room with the tube, and the mask I had was one that has the little aluminum strip
Mm, right,
here
right.
to shape it around your nose, and that was no good. You're not allowed to. You can't have any metal of any kind
Oh, right, right.
in the tube. And because it was my arm, the way they had to position me, I had to be lying on my side with my arm stretched over my head and go into the tube, hand and head first. So I had to be in the tube up to about halfway down my body. So he said, you have to take your mask off. And he had a mask on, but I wasn't comfortable. I said, I need something over my face. So he gave me a clean pillowcase to put over my face. All right.
All right.
All right. And then I
Did,
laid there, like this with my arm up in the cradle thing in a terribly uncomfortable position, sandwiched in because the top of it was like pressing against my shoulder. I was really sandwiched in there. Fortunately, I don't experience claustrophobia. I know some people find that really
yeah,
difficult because you really are in this little tube.
right.
You're like in a what do they call the things in the submarine where they shoot
The torpedo
what do they call those things,
bay.
huh?
Yeah.
The torpedo bay. It's like you're like in a torpedo bay, and then all the noise happens. The whatever. It was about 15 minutes. It was over. It was fine.
Yeah. It looks lovely out there.
It's a beautiful evening. What I like And I remember this now because, I grew up, this is my new place is out here in the San Fernando Valley. And I remember this from childhood that as hot as it gets, it cools down at night. So it's now what, almost 8 o'clock. And it's cool. It's lovely. As you can see, there's lots of greenery around. This neighborhood, I think, is older
Hmm.
than the neighborhood I grew up in. So, the trees are really mature. You can get a sense of that from what you see behind me, but it's got a lot of really mature trees. This particular house was built in 1950.
Hmm.
The houses on either side of me were clearly tear downs that somebody, tore, who knows what was there before, but built modern houses. But this
Right.
is clearly, from when this neighborhood was first developed in the late 40s, early 50s. Not really rural, but it almost feels like you're in the country.
Hmm.
And a lot of mature trees, very green, very quiet. It's really kind of nice. I was in a different location, and I think that though the situation has not gotten any better, it's if anything worse.
Hmm.
I think that we were all in such shock. It happened so fast. It was like one day, boom, y'all have to stay inside, and danger, danger, Will Robinson. Everything felt terrifying. In a sad way, we're just all kind of used to it and have adapted remarkably. I mean, it's a testament to, for those of us who have adapted and aren't denying what's happening and acting a fool. Humans are incredibly capable of adaptation. So 3.5 months in, we're kind of used to these new behaviors that we have to live with. We don't go out more than we have to. I don't go to the supermarket unless it's urgent. There's just no choice but to do it, or the pharmacy or any other kind of store. I don't do it unless I absolutely have to. I have everything delivered. And granted, that's coming from a real place of privilege because I have the wherewithal financially that I can spend that extra 15, 20% that it costs to have everything delivered.
Yeah.
For those people for whom that would be a more significant burden and aren't able to do that, um, and I know a lot of people in that position and who do that, or who aren't even necessarily in that position by necessity, but just choose to because they're not as worried about it as I am.
Hmm.
They do it, but they've adapted to those behaviors too. That when you go out, you have your mask, you have your gloves, to keep your distance from people. When you go into the store, you observe those guidelines, those behaviors, and it's terrible and it's exhausting. But you just kind of, okay, this is how it is now.
Have you been able to give yourself like I mean, I know that you do things to take care of yourself inside and out, but in terms of like trying to bring lightness, how have you adapted that way? Like, and trying to allow yourself entertainment or,
Yeah,
uh,
I part of that is moving to this new place where I have the more room. In my old place, as you know, even though it was a very nice place and very generous in size, my business had grown to the point where I was busting at the seams. So my work spilled over into my entire living space. There were boxes and things, and I was having to use my space where I usually would sit down and eat, or when I would sit and watch. Everything was covered with business stuff, so I lost the ability to feel any separation between work and relaxation.
hmm,
Even if my activities were designed in such a way, you couldn't escape the feeling of being, in your workspace at all times. So since I've moved here, and I'm so fortunate that I was able to do it, and I was able to find a place that is laid out in such a way as to make this possible. When my team leaves for the day around 5 o'clock, I'll work until whenever I need to work. If I'm able to stop at 5, I stop at 5. If I have more stuff to do, I'll work till 6, whatever. But when I'm done, there are 2 bedrooms that are dedicated to work stuff, and there is a whole 2-room office suite kind of thing off the kitchen. That's a whole, what used to be the garage of the house that was converted. Those doors get closed, and there's nothing of work, not a box, not a folder, not a computer, anything that is related to work is behind those doors. So once those doors are closed, I'm able to And it's a simple mental trick, but it helps. I'm able to detach and I'm able to relax. I'm able to, make myself some dinner, have a cocktail if I want, get on the phone with, friends, just relax, watch a little television. And this going out to the yard
Hmm.
is because I had I had no private outdoor space at my old place. Here I've got this beautiful big backyard with all this greenery. It's relaxing. It's nice. That's been really lovely.
Well, I like what you said about, when you close that door, that part of the day is done. And
You have to. But I learned years ago that if you're going to work from home, you have to, if you're working in an office, you're going outside, whether it's an office or a store or wherever you're working, if you're working outside the home, there's a natural differentiation between home and work. If you're working from home, and more people are doing that now than ever because, and I think that's going to stick, I think that's going to be one of the lasting legacies of COVID is we've learned that a lot of people don't have to go to an office. There's a lot of work that can be done from home just as easily because of technology now. But when I first started doing it, I had to learn the lesson that you can't just roll out of bed in your, bathrobe and slippers or underwear, whatever, and go over to your desk. It doesn't work. It blends everything and it becomes a fog and you lose the distinction between what's work and what's life. And it's just not workable. So I learned early on that if you're going to work from home, you have to treat it, you have to have at least a portion of your home, even if it's a corner, it doesn't matter. You have to have an area that is work. And when you go to work, you do all the things you would do if you were working outside the home before you go to work. So you shower and you have your breakfast, you do whatever your morning routine is, you get dressed. And I don't care if it's shorts and a t-shirt, but you get dressed. And here's a stupid little detail. You put on shoes.
hmm.
You put on shoes. Because if you don't put on shoes, you don't feel like you're going out. That sounds silly,
No, it doesn't sound silly at
but
all
you put
because
on shoes. You put on clothes. Again, today, it's summer here in Southern California, so it's warm, it's casual. So I have, a pair of shorts and a polo shirt, and a lot of, some days it's a t-shirt, whatever, but it's presentable, it's clean, it's clothing, and I put on shoes.
hmm.
So after I get up, I have my breakfast, I shower, I do all that stuff, and I know that by 9 o'clock, because that's when my staff arrives, I go to I'm in my office, dressed, ready to work.
Yeah.
Actual work stuff is in the work rooms. It all happens in there.
Right.
We're not stacking boxes in the living room. We're not assembling projects on the dining room table. But however you have to work it out, if you're working from home, you have to find that way to differentiate.
Yeah, I was
Or
just
you'll go
gonna,
crazy and your life loses any sense of structure or privacy.
that advice pretty much for anybody is really valuable because I know that, just in starting this, because I'm one of those people now who are starting to do things online much more from
Yeah,
wherever I am. And in doing this, yeah, it's fun. And I'm just calling my friends just like you around the world and chatting about whatever comes up. But there is a sense of, oh, okay, I'm not just, I don't have to get dressed. It's not a job, but there is a shift when I come and I put the
you have to
lights on and I
shift.
do
You
this.
have to
There's,
you have to differentiate.
yeah. So there definitely is a shift. Um, yeah. I mean, like you've been in different kinds of businesses for so long. I guess part of me, because I'm not a business person who's been in business stuff, like I guess in today's world, what would someone, I mean, advice wise, because I know that's a broad subject, but just the idea of going into business now in this day and age, you know, um, I guess what I'm asking is like, what are some of the things that you've discovered along the way, or at least one of the things, or maybe a piece of advice that you got that actually helped you in that trajectory that you are still on now?
A couple things. Um, You have to believe in what you're doing. If you don't believe in what you're doing, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. Your heart's not going to be in it. You're not going to be happy in it, and there's no reason to do it. That's number one. Believe in what you're doing, even if it seems hard, or and anybody or everybody or anybody tells you that's not possible. Fuck that. If it's what you believe in, then you will make it happen. Don't let anybody tell you that what you believe in is not right, not okay, and not doable. And if you don't know what you're doing, here's the other thing. This is what was kind of in the back of my head. I think this is a universal feeling that people have that nobody wants to admit to. Every last one of us at some point feels like we're a fraud, that we don't know what we're doing and we're going to be found out for not knowing what the fuck we're doing. I don't care who you are. If you tell me that you've never felt that way, you're a liar. Everybody at some point has felt like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm faking this. I'm a fraud and I'm going to get found out. And the sooner you realize that that is A, universal, and B, bullshit, the sooner you'll get over it and figure out that even if you don't know what the fuck you're doing, figure it out, because it's what everybody else has to do. There's nobody among us that's plopped down, that sets out to do what they're going to do, that knows off the bat what the fuck they're doing. They figure it out. They work past the fear and the self-doubt, and they say, God, I don't know how to do that. Let me figure it out. Because that's what holds most people back.
Yeah.
Everybody has the dream. I just had one of these the other night. Everybody has some version of the dream where, you know, they wake up and realize that it's, you know, they've got their final paper due today, or there's a final exam and they're not prepared and they're on their way to school and they're in their socks,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, man. Yeah.
Right? You've had those
Oh,
feelings and those
oh,
dreams,
yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Right. Universal human condition. Don't think you're special because you've had that feeling, and don't think that you're worse than everybody else, and that every single other motherfucker out there doesn't have those same fears and same self-doubts. And the people that make it, and the people that get through it, and the people that are, what's the word I'm looking for? Happy.
There's a word.
There's a word I'm looking for. Happy and content at some level. And when I say content, I don't mean like, you know, I can stop striving now, but
No,
feel
no, I
like, okay, are the ones who say, yeah, that's how it is. And it's not perfect. And even when I think I have figured it out, I'm still going to mess up. I'm still going to make mistakes. I'm still going to struggle. I'm still going to go like, oh man, I wish I had known how to do this because I would have done this differently. Yeah,
right.
right. Okay. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you for that. Because that's really, yeah, I'm embracing everything you just said in a deep way.
Welcome to life. That's how it
Yeah.
is. Oh,
Yeah. They're
that's such
practicing
a
again.
beautiful sound. That's so, even like, you know, because I only hear it kind of in the background. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, that's the gamelan being in Bali. I happen to be staying at the home of an artist and a musician who happens to be a master at the gamelan, and his whole he comes from a long line of musicians. Yeah, I actually got on the thing the other day. He was like, you know, you're here for this long. Why don't you, you know, come
Yeah.
try? And so, you know, the whole damping as you play.
Damping. So your
So
left hand
you're
has to, or I guess your right hand, if you're left-handed,
so it's
has to follow your other
yeah, so
hand,
as soon as you hit, as you move your hand to hit another one, you're grabbing that one to damp it
grabbing
and
that one to stop it so that
to
it
stop
doesn't
it from
just become,
resonating. Right.
yeah, just become
It's
muddy noise. Yeah.
so he has a student he's working with right now. Um, so on that note, see what I did there?
Clever. Oh,
see
you're
what
so clever.
see what I did there? Oh,
What you did
but
there.
this is But
I
this is
see what
odd.
you. I see.
I
I
see
gotta.
what.
I see what you did there.
But this is awesome because this is really what I wanted to. I mean, when I first started talking about doing this podcast, it just came. It was just prompted by the fact that I have such wonderful friends all over, and there's always something. I don't know. I get something out of it every time I have a chat, and the more podcasts I listen to, the more I realize, wow, I really do have a lot of really interesting friends around the world, and and I'll be chatting with you again. But I'm glad I got a chance to catch you, on a lovely day. And a total side note, I was really thinking about Pride this year, and in the midst of all the everything, all the upheavals, and then Pride on top of it, I was really happy to see Marsha P. Johnson on the Google thing.
Oh, I
You
didn't
know,
even notice that. They did. They honored her.
wow. And I
Nobody should
was,
even be allowed onto a Pride parade or a Pride festival without knowing who Marsha P was.
yeah, as an activist, as a Black trans woman, in the 60s,
Yeah,
70s, the life that she lived to the fullest, as pretty much as authentic as you can get.
yeah,
And damn the torpedoes, in and out of jail, in and off the street.
yeah. And as
But
hard as life is in 2020
yeah,
for Black trans women,
yeah,
for a Black trans woman in 1969,
yeah. It's just it's overwhelming. So it was just one of those things that at this time, when we've got all of these things happening at the same time that are challenging us to the core. I mean, COVID in and of itself was such a big challenge for everybody. And I, of course, I've been in Southeast Asia since last October. So I started hearing about it in December. More and more people were
yeah,
talking about it. So by the time January rolled around, I mean, Asia was on it, in terms of trying to deal with it. But I could see, in the home of my countrymen, things were just going kind of haywire and crazy. And then, to get to the summer and all these cancellations of different events and things that we are all used to doing and enjoying not happening. And then, all of the biggest elephant in the room now, which is, people bringing to light more and more people being unarmed and shot and killed and whatever, any kind of way. And then Pride rolled around. So we're right in the middle of all of these things. And then, Pride rolls up. And, of course, I was in New York last year, to celebrate that, the
yeah,
50th anniversary. So I was been thinking about it because that's what's happening right now. And then to see Marsha P. Johnson on that, it was just like, that's a global platform. I never really thought about that Google picture before, never really
yeah.
thought of,
I'm sure I looked at Google today for. I'm
yeah.
sure I looked up something. I never even look at the doodles.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that interested in the doodles. I mean, sometimes one catches my eye and go, oh, that's cute. But I
Yeah,
just think about
yeah,
that for a second. But this one was like, wow, because it just made me realize how many people over the years I've mentioned her too.
they don't
Um,
know.
they don't know who it is, but
They don't know.
now a global platform
Yeah,
has presented her photo, and I don't know. It just made me feel really, really good to see that. So, but yeah, we keep doing the thing, and hopefully we'll continue the forward motion that seems to be happening right now. But I do want to thank you, Andy, for taking the time in your lovely abode
I
to
go.
yeah, just like we normally do. This is,
I know.
we're not going to share everything we talk about, God
Oh
knows.
hell no,
but but we can,
no.
we can
We can
chat
talk about
about
some stuff. There's other stuff
the
that's
other
for the
stuff. No,
private
this for the
conversation.
private. Yeah, that's just me, you, and and a bottle of something adult, and you know
Yeah,
some extra time. So anyway, thank you.
yeah.
And we
Pleasure.
will,
Thank you.
yeah, we'll chat again. We'll chat again soon.
Sure, we will.
As a matter of fact, we're going to chat again. As a matter of fact, we're going to chat again right now when I turn this thing off, so we can talk about
Yeah.
the stuff we're not going to share with the world.
Hell no. I still have a modicum of modesty.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to hang on to mine too. I'm trying to hang on to a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah, a modicum of dignity.
Yeah, still hanging on.
I'm clinging to it for dear life.
Oh my
Clinging to
God.
the last shreds of my dignity.
I love it. Oh my
Yeah.
God. I'll see you later, Andy. Bye.
Ah. And we're out.
And we're out. Thanks for joining us this week on Mind Your Is-ness. Make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and share this podcast with your friends. We're all in this boat together, paddling our asses off, and we'll catch you next time. You know what? We always have humor in the most serious shit.
Hey, that's how we get by.
That's how we survive it. But really,
Mhm.
there is part of that mountain.